Hey y'all. Hey y'all, it's me, Linda, and your treasure, coming to you today on this Monday, October 8th, 2012. All right, so I'm coming today to talk a little bit about reading, okay? Reading for recreation. All right. Those of you who have been following me for a long time, you know that I am a reading teacher. I'm an English language arts teacher, so I teach reading to young preteen kiddos. And yeah, I teach reading strategies, reading appreciation, how to think about reading, how to analyze and infer and summarize and synthesize, and all of the skills that help to develop strong reading skills. So I thought, well, I will come today to share with you all a couple of books that I've enjoyed reading, because reading, I think, is an activity that you can nourish, develop, and I think if you find high interest materials that you really like, that appeal to you, then that will enhance or improve or even help you to increase the amount of reading that you do for recreation. Okay? So find the genre that you like best. Like, do you like sci-fi or mystery or fantasy? Do you like realistic fiction, historical fiction? Do you like nonfiction writing, informational text, magazines? What is it that you like? Fashion magazines? Find what you like, because if you do that, you're going to find high interest reading materials that will keep you actively engaged in reading. And one reason I think reading is really cool to do, because it helps to keep your thinking sharp. It helps you to practice predicting, and it helps you to keep your brain on automatic so that you're analyzing and critiquing, sort of like in coasting. You know how you put your car on cruise control? So when you practice it, your brain is just on cruise control, using those skills automatically, and that increases your mental flexibility and your astuteness, I think. Okay, so one thing that I did, like when I was a young girl, here's my reading history. When I was an elementary student, I did not like reading. I can remember learning to read. I can remember learning to sound out words and sound very articulate, but I can also remember struggling with comprehension for a while. There was a gap in my understanding of what I read. And see, back in that time, teaching was different. It was almost like you wanted to see the survival of the fittest, the ones who could innately learn this without instruction. And so when it came to reading, and I couldn't really, as a second grader, I couldn't articulate what I had read, I just kind of backed off of it. But then my oldest sister, we're stair steps, she was an avid reader. My dad was an avid reader. He had a vast collection of books from oh my goodness, his catalog of books is impressive. And he read them all. If he didn't read them all, I'm almost certain he read almost every book in his library, and more than once. So anyway, when we were young, he had Homer, the Iliad and the Odyssey right there on the mantle of the fireplace. He read Frederick Douglass back in those times. Then as we matured, he started doing a lot of religious research and just all kinds of classics. So anyway, yeah, my oldest sister, when I was in elementary, I would just read what she read, and especially if she recommended the book. So I can remember reading, as a third grader, a book called Striped Ice Cream, because she recommended it. I remember reading a book called Hello, God, It's Me, Margaret, because she said it was a good book. And so, and there are a few other ones as well. So recommending books is something that young people are encouraged to do. You know, I have my students to write book recommendations, thumbs up, thumbs down, and provide like supporting reasons from the text of why you like it and why you would recommend it. Those are all strategies that help you to express your understanding of what you read. So anyway, I'm going to share with you all an author that I like. Okay, so a student about 5 years ago, one of my former students who I taught in 8th grade, came back to visit me. She was a freshman in high school at that time and had transferred to another school district. And she came back to visit me and asked, "Have you read The Life of Pi?" And I said, "No, I haven't." And she proceeded to tell me about the story of The Life of Pi. And it sounded so interesting, I just had to go get the book. So I Googled it and I found it on Amazon and I purchased it. So this is the book. The author is Jan Martel. The Life of Pi is a story about a young boy named Pi Patel, and that's him and his family in India. They own a zoo, and the father sells the zoo and then proceeds to move the family to Canada. But things go awry and there's a crash or something on the ship, and so young Pi Patel ends up stranded. And some of the zoo animals, the family had brought the zoo animals and boarded them on the ship. So this is Richard Parker, the family's Bengal tiger that was in their zoo. And so you're going to see in this story that there are 3 points of views or 3 narrators narrating this story in the 3 parts of the story. It's very well written. It's extraordinarily well written. And so it's an adventure, and it even says up here, Life of Pi is a real adventure. It's difficult to stop reading when the pages run out. And I mean, when I finished reading this, I felt like a sadness, like I need to read this again, or I need to read something else by Jan Martel. This is a well-written book. This young boy spent 7 months lost at sea in the Pacific Ocean, and Richard Parker, this Bengal tiger, helped him to survive the horrific, dangerous things that he faced. Yeah, it's a good book. Okay, so Jan Martel, after reading this book, I just really appreciated his craftsmanship. And so when I saw he had written the second book, or another book, I don't know how many books he's written, but a couple of years ago this was new, and it's called Beatrice and Virgil. And Beatrice and Virgil are 2 of the secondary main characters in the story. The primary main character is an author who moves his wife from Canada to India or something like that. And then because I think he's bored or he wants a break in his career, so they move to a new place. And then every day, some kind of way he stumbles across this weird man who's a taxidermist. And so he visits this man, and this man proceeds to tell him a story about Beatrice and Virgil. Some kind of way, either the author has written the story of Beatrice and Virgil and reads it to the taxidermist, or the taxidermist is sharing. I can't remember. It's been a while since I read it. But this is Beatrice, and that's Virgil, the spider monkey. And they're together helping each other to survive the horrific atrocities of the Holocaust. And you're going to find out that this orange, wavy background represents the shirt that they are on. They're walking on a shirt, which symbolizes their inability to move forward. They're kind of traumatized, and they're stuck. They're afraid to venture out into a faraway place because of what they've experienced. Death, murder, and all kinds of horrific things. And so the author who visits the taxidermist then finds out that the taxidermist is crazy and weirdo, and things happen in the end that, Yeah, changed his life. But anyway, these are two very good books. Jan Martel is a very good writer. I think he's Canadian, French Canadian. He was born in 1963 and lives in Canadian Prairie province of Saskatchewan. He studied philosophy at the university, yeah, and he really writes about religion. So both of these have an aspect about religion, God, and some themes, like in this one, hope and a will to live, a will to survive, and pretty much the same in this one. So good versus evil, and yeah. So y'all, find something that you enjoy reading, and I really recommend that, parents, especially nowadays with the young adult novels that are out nowadays, these authors are writing these fast-paced, high-interest books with good, solid vocabulary, and like Rick Riordan, is that how you say his name? The author of all of the Percy Jacksons and the Olympians, and these stories about these youngsters getting the power of the Olympians and the Greek gods, and the Twilight series. These books are high interest, fast read, or well, not really a fast read, because some of these books are 500 plus pages in length, which is not necessarily a fast read for the average reader. But yeah, a good solid reader could probably finish those books in a couple of days. So anyway, parents, partner read with your kiddos. Moms and dad, find you something that you enjoy reading, and then just do it. And share. Write about it on your blogs, or make you a vlog about it, or just tell your friends about it, or talk about it on Facebook, and just get a reading circle going. All of those things to improve and to increase your reading activities. All right, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate your time. All right, I'm going to go. Talk to you later. Bye.
I'm a foreigner from the distant land, little help I get, learning all the new ways around me, learning all the new rules of love. A hand reach from the distant land.